Okay, so we're picking up from where we left off yesterday. It was fun because my oldest daughter, Milena, called me and she said, Mom, she watched the broadcast and she said that there were things that I left out, other details that people should know about. So I invited her to join us one day and tell her side. Everybody has a different perspective. And sometimes I tell the same story probably a million times in probably a million different ways. And sometimes I do forget the most important details or even the tiny ones that matter to whomever's hearing the story. But that's what's cool about when you hear a story from someone and in the ancient days, and I think that the ancient wasn't too far long ago when people didn't have recording devices. They'd have to really listen to whoever was telling the story, and then they would tell the story in their own way. And I'll tell you something, it's delightful for me to hear other people tell their perspective. And if I ever get my dear friends on here and have them tell their stories, oh, I'll tell you, I'll be laughing with you. And then I'll be just as mystified and intrigued as you are. That's how entertaining. That's why this is my passion. One of my many passions. That was a question yesterday, what are your passions? And you know what? I'm leaving my options open. I'm leaving my options open. I can tell you where I am here and now. Here and now, my passions are really being able to be a part of your story. Just by you watching this, we're all parts of each other's story. And for whatever reason, that story continues to grow. And I really believe that is a seed of creation. And people can take one story that's absolutely just fills your heart with like, oh, it's just wonderful. And then somebody could take that same story and make it look like it's a piece of trash and it's shady. You know, it's all kinds of, but you know what? So is the creator. The creator looks at shade. And sometimes we have to look at our own shade, our own shadow. We all have it. I don't even care if you think that you're just like the most benevolent everything and everyone. Everyone's got shade because God created it. But it doesn't mean that shade is acceptable. Okay? But every once in a while, we all have that moment when we got to go a little shady. Okay? And you know your intentions and you know your heart. And I also know that sometimes there's a huge difference between shady and darkness and dark. There's a huge difference. But yet, aren't they all the same? One energy, one creation, yet expressed in many different ways. How are you expressing yourself today? How am I expressing myself today? We don't have to stay stuck in something that's expressing not the best sides of ourselves. We don't have to be stuck in that. But if that's how we feel, if we feel that that is what is the best side of ourselves, then go for it. Because there's no judgments. No judgments. That's the thing that I am learning a lot. That's that question that was asked about, if you could tell someone something that you've learned. I would say that too. I'm very quick to judge based on what others and I have found to be right or wrong. And that's why it's important. Sometimes we have to look in that gray space. There's that gray space. It's not just always black and white. There's that gray space. That's the space that I feel can be a place of, am I going to choose to suffer? Is this inevitable suffering? In which, and in this space, even though I know I have to experience this, which direction do I want to go in, or do I just need to sit in this for a while? Because some of us do need to sit in that space. We do. But I would say to you, okay, acknowledge the shade, acknowledge the shady. But especially this, sometimes we do that later on in life and we can be very judgmental, not only of ourselves, but others. Now, I've seen people who have had suffered through the challenges of addiction. And I feel like that I have also witnessed where there can be those who are very critical of it. But I also see those who haven't suffered, yet they are concerned because they know that there's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason for this space in between here. And that's where the Creator's hands are. You're right in the middle. Right in the middle. Just like this beautiful blossom of light. Yeah? And it's important for you to really, every once in a while, we got to really critique ourselves. We got to say, okay, well, that works. That doesn't work. Maybe I can improve on that. Nope, that's not going to change. We got to accept that which isn't going to change, right? But then there's that moment where we look and we say, okay, this is what the Creator created. Think about yourself. Close your eyes for just a moment. I'll stay with you through this moment. If you're watching this sincerely and you want to experience this together with us, then just close your eyes for a minute. And I would like you to imagine or visualize the cutest, most sweetest, most perfect little tiny, 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 teeny tiny, you could fit in the palms of your hands, baby. The most beautiful, sweetest, cutest baby. And maybe the baby doesn't have a form. Maybe it's this light. Maybe it's this baby light, or it seems, because I say the word baby, but what if that spark of light is ancient? And it's just you're holding this precious light in your hands. And that precious light fits perfectly, that baby fits perfectly in your heart. So I want you to gently take that baby of light and cradle it to your heart. Now, you know your heart better than anyone else. That's why, and when anyone loves you, your heart says, oh, I know they love me. And that's why when your heart experiences the opposite, you know, but this baby that you're holding of light, it's you. It's what you were created with. And if you press it gently against your heart and you allow that light to reignite within your eternal heart, the heart that was created by a source, a creator that's so magnificent, it's it's undefinable. But yet you were created from that energy. And if you are focused, you'll recognize a brilliant, bright light immediately appears above you, around you, surrounds you. Immediately nurturing and protecting that baby. That's you. That's your heart. That's the heart that the Creator knows and hears. And now I want you to open your eyes. And just sit silently with your eyes open, looking at me. And I want you to feel your heart but allow yourself to see, experience, express whatever it is that you feel. Because you're by yourself. You're not in front of me. You're by yourself in your safe and sacred space with your heart. And if there's something that you need to be heard right now, that for whatever reason has put you in that shady space, that space of which direction do I go? Do I stay or do I go? I want you to remember that beautiful heart. Look at me. What is your passion? Because that's the direction you go in. And I'm not talking about a passion where you hurt yourself or you hurt someone else or you hurt the world or you hurt God or whatever is in your life. None of that. I'm not talking about, okay, my passion is to hurt myself. That ain't a passion, honey. That's a death wish. And we're not in that energy right now, are we? So we're going to be here. But we are already making plans for the best of the best. This is the do it again time. All of us have had to pause in this space. You looking at me? You watching my eyeballs? Okay, keep your eyeballs here, okay? Keep your eyes here. All of us are in this space. Guess what? This is temporary. So let's think about all this stuff. I know you've been thinking about when I get a chance, when this pandemic is over, when we are past this, and we start remembering that this is it, this is our home, then we're going to do it again. We're going to do the thing, and it's time. It's time for us to do the stuff that's best for us. It is good for us to be home. Because then we realize what home is. This is home. This is home. So my children all express a need on some level for me. I suppose I always think of Milena as a wonderful mentor on so many levels for me. She has her side of the story. So I told her one day she can have Mamakeeya KNOWS after party, like they do for those other shows. And she could just give her commentary and probably bring in some guests or people that she will consider facts to come in. She makes me laugh. Oh, I just love her so much. Very, very talented and very, very brilliant. Very, very brilliant. Okay, so we're going to answer another question. Do we have any questions at this time?
Yes, we have a question from Anne.
Anne.
And the question is, what's going on between me and Bob? Does he want to stay in touch?
Okay, Anne, this is how we're going to roll with this, honey, okay? Because I can hear you etherically. I've been blessed with this. So what's going to happen is I'm going to ask you, Anne, you're going to, and I don't know if you're still watching. If you're still watching, it's good. If you watch this later, this is the response to you, Anne. I want you to say his name 3 times, just what you would call him. And no, don't call him any other word that might be a little bit on the shady side, okay? Just say what his name is 3 times, and then, okay, thank you. Well, now this is very fascinating because I had visions with you, my dear. And what I saw was this. You're like a mermaid on a rock by a beautiful waterfall. you're absolutely like your light with the waterfall is beautiful. Tells me that you're someone who is um goes into her emotions, but at this time it's like you're out of your emotions. You just want to be on the rock, you want to be basking in the sun. And so I see your beautiful mermaid hair with the rainbows, and you're doing what is balance and stuff. And then all of a sudden you open your mouth. Yes. And when you open your mouth, it's a siren's mouth. And Bob, okay, Bob is like real close. He's like this prince over here, and he hears it, and all of a sudden he's going like this. Oh, it's too much. So there might be something that has been said or isn't being said or being communicated. It's almost like the attraction's there, but there's a part of you that doesn't want to go into that emotions anymore. Part of you, both of you need a vacation. You really do. I hope you plan one together somehow, some way. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. You can go on a vacation, not necessarily having to physically get on a plane somewhere. Do something different together. Do something interesting. And even if the soul is on the other side, you can do that. Also, you can have a vacation with your loved ones on the other side. That's why we have memories. And that's where I also need to correct something, because I did watch the previous broadcast of Mamakeeya Knows, and I want to correct myself because, listen, I'm not the be all know all. I loved when my twinks would say the big cheese. I'm not the big cheese, okay? Listen, I'm just saying to you that I know that there is always room for growth, and who you are here and now matters with each other. Acknowledging that you are both growing, whether you're face to face or at a distance, you're still growing. And part of you, is there something that you're needing from each other, or that you're knowing at this time? Because you know where you grow together and when you don't. But see, the vision goes into this: a beautiful garden. I see irises, so that means early spring, early going into spring, because I love irises. And I see rain, something that I saw when I was a little girl on the beach on Waikiki, where it was like you saw, it was a sunny day, and then all of a sudden you would see this rain cloud move across, and then it would be sunny again. It was like you could watch it move. There's depression, there's some sadness, there's grief, there's something. And so one of the cures for that, for those of you who are experiencing depression at this time, remember who you were when you were your littlest. Think about that. Think about it. Think about it. And what you really liked and enjoyed. I have to tell you, I still remember, and this had to be in National City, California, where somebody had, I think it was a Fisher Price. I think it was a lawnmower, but it had the round dome. This is back in the early 60s, right? And it was like you could push it, and these little balls, I don't think they were plastic, I think they were actual wood balls inside this dome. It would go pop 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 pop. And I remember thinking to myself, wow, that is really cool, watching those things go pop 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 pop. Okay, so what am I playing these days? Those games that have anything that goes pop 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 pop. Sometimes I think it's conditioning, you know what I mean? But it's something that brings me joy. I like things that go pop. Well, that could be interesting. So let's go to the next question, shall we? Hold on, I gotta take a sip. Ooh. Okay, and anytime I take a sip from this, there's a couple of things that I would like to say. The holder itself was a wonderful gift from one of my dearest, bestest friends. And in here is ice water, and it is so good. And I'm so blessed to be able to sip it right now. So if you have some kind of beverage you want to sip on at this time, I would suggest you do it. Refresh your palate for a moment. And let's keep going with this while Mr. V tells me what the next question is.
Okay, next question is from Annette. And she says, my heart hurts and aches. It's painful and I don't know why. It feels empty and lost.
As soon as Mr. V said that, I felt like Janis Joplin was singing. I can't do Janis Joplin justice, but I'll do it. It's just, I'll do the best I can. Just take it. Take a little bit. Wait, take a little. Okay, wait. Everybody help me out here, okay? Just take it. Take a little bit, a piece of my heart now, baby. Oh, break it. Break a little piece of my heart. That song is playing. I apologize for destroying it in any manner, but I'm grateful for those who helped me. I had to close my eyes so I could hear the audience. I had to hear the audience. Thank you. Bravo. Everybody who's watching this broadcast, take a moment. Take a moment and listen to that song in its entirety in YouTube, or if you have it on a LP or a cassette, or however it is that you roll, play that song. You've all done it. You've all given your heart away. There's been people who, and you did it, and you said, I'm going to do it because I love you. And that's the thing. That's why, Annette, you love so deeply. You gave your heart. And so now it's time for people to give their hearts to you too, honey. You see, you gave so much. You loved someone to death. And you didn't kill that person. You loved that person. And that person died. Part of you is saying, wait a minute. That was my garden. That was our garden. The seeds are still there, honey. That's why you have your memories, people. I want to tell you about, for all this technology, cherish your own memories, please. Make those memories. And some of those memories are going to be in front of these devices. I've had them with my kids, with the neighborhood kids, with their parents, with the mission. I've had all kinds of people. I love playing games. Make those memories. So listen to that. Listen to that song. Let's listen together. When you play it, I'll be listening to it with you. If you would like to invite me, if you don't want me, then just say, get out of here, Kia. I'm not gonna be peeking at you. I don't intentionally look at people. It just happens. It just happens. And what I see may not be necessarily what my daughter, Milena, has seen. And I'll tell you something, she's one of the best storytellers I know. You should listen to her. She got stories to tell. But one of the questions was, I'll open my eyes now. Now I have to tell you this, okay? My eyes were closed. I got to tell you, I do not remember anything I just said except for Annette. And here's the thing, Annette. Allow those who really love you, to nurture you. Be like, it's like when somebody has just, it's been a wonderful, you got to remember the wonderful. You got to remember the wonderful memories. But also in that, you're going to hear and feel and see, experience those painful ones. And so in order for that to shift and change, you need some loving. And I'll tell you something, I have so many wonderful, loving, furry friends out there. I want to send a shout out to Ruben. I want to send a shout out to all those wonderful furry friends out there and feathered friends. Sometimes that becomes our friend for a moment, but your heart needs to be replenished. So, and you're in the winter, baby. This is winter. And today, on the south side of Chicago, we got these beautiful big snowflakes. It looks like we're inside some kind of like snow globe. Okay. And it's like, I'm like, I swear if I went like this, I'd probably be a snow globe, right? But it's so beautiful out there. So I would say to you, dear Annette, I would say to you, um, watch the snow. It's not going to take away the emotions, but it's going to redirect your energy. And if while you're watching the snow, memories start coming up or the emptiness, you start to feel that emptiness, then ask yourself, what can I do and here and now to make this better? What would I tell my little 6-year-old self? This is what we're going to do to make this better. And allow yourself to do that for yourself, or it's okay. Sometimes we have to ask because I think, Annette, people are kind of used to you just being able to take care of everything by yourself, or I don't know, going above and beyond. And even if anyone were to judge you and say, she doesn't go above and beyond, I would say, bullshit. I know the divine acknowledges you. Allow the divine to fill you. Divine, that creation, it's still there. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching. And by the way, Mr. V said something that it's important, I guess, that people subscribe. I'm grateful. I think it helps. So please subscribe if you're very interested on some level. We never know what's going to happen or what's going to be discussed. Here's our next question.
Okay, next question is from Eliana. And the question is, may I have a message from Spirit?
Okay, excuse me. Eliana, it's important uh, for your energy field to consider wearing more emerald or emerald green. There's something about that color of emerald that's very empowering for your energy field at this time. It also flows into the aqua colors, and that's what was interesting about you. I felt that there was this fire, and it was a perfectly domed fire. So fire energy was flowing. There was fire. And I love fire for so many reasons, because not only can you be warm and roasty and toasty by the fire, but you can have something delicious. You can You can roast some marshmallows. You can create glass. But it also has its shady side. Just like I was sharing in the very beginning, that there's this light, there's a dark, and there's also that shady. But yours is encapsulated in, like, it kind of reminds me of one of like a brick fire pit. That's what it looks like. And it's fire, and it seems like in four directions, there's warmth for you. So it's like if you were wondering, well, what direction do I go in? There's four, and when I close my eyes and I look at you, I see um, fire, lots of fire. I see, and fire is passion, but it can also burn. And I feel like that you've gone you have the opportunity or have gone in many directions that you're passionate about. But it's almost like I see this dragon energy coming towards the fire. And that means that they're in all directions, so this is telling me that you're going to see, as you continue to experience life and allow yourself to grow, or to experience the here and now, and to savor it. I always want to say this to people: savor what you're experiencing right now. That's part of why we're experiencing this dimension at this time, is to truly savor, because by savoring our brains, not something outside of ourselves. It's possible they're doing it, but we're talking about our brains, our souls, our spirits, our ancestors, our creators. Okay? That is eternal. This is going to change. It's going to change. It's going to continue to change. There may be a time where you just have a little device that's about the size of a coin, and all you have to do is say on, and there it is. That's a good one. That's a good one to put on a t-shirt, isn't it? There it is. Poof, there it is. It's mine. Mamakeeya's. Don't you take it, nobody. No one takes that. Oh, I'm not going to remember because I think I'm channeling now. Oh my. Yes, definitely. Okay, what's the next question, please?
Okay, it's from Deanna. Any insight on a relationship between me and Keith? Currently long distance.
Can you say the individual's name again 3 times for me, Mr. V?
Deanna, Deanna, Deanna.
And then his name 3 times.
Keith, Keith, Keith.
Okay, and Deanna, if you're hearing this, I want you to do the same thing. Now, I want you to know this: there are messages within the messages, and there are people who are asking the same question, very similar energies that Deanna is asking about their own relationship. And you know what that energy right now, you have a question. This is the answer for the energy that's flowing right now. Oh, wow, that's simple. You're all wanting to weave deeper relationships, and there's a part of you guys that you're like honeybees ready to collect the pollen, okay? There's a part of you that's it's springtime. All of you want to do something refreshing somehow, some way, and you're looking towards that honey, okay? But you're not selfish. None of yous are selfish. In fact, many of you are selfless. And the thing is the honeybee, the nice fluffy ones. I love those. I love those big fluffy ones that move really slow. Um, the honeybee is wrapped in this web. It's old web. And that tells me past relationships, past issues, past. Some of it's good, because what does a web do? It captures and it nurtures. Well, that's what it does. So it is also a sign that this wonderful honeybee came in and said, "Woo, springtime. I want that honey. I'm looking for that good stuff, the good goods." And in its process, got caught in something from the past. And right after that, the vision comes. A frog just snatching that opportunity. So you'll know when to snatch an opportunity. You are an adult. You have your own moral compass. Sometimes we all need confirmation. Even the divine creator needs confirmation. Did you know that? People, they don't teach you that, do they? They don't tell you, hey, God needs a woo woo every once in a while. Don't you know God enjoys when you're happy? Don't you know? Don't you know? So, what will we do if we're in a family party and we have somebody come in and they're in a foul mood and they kind of try to bust up? What would we do as a family? Some of us would run. Okay, some of us would be like, I don't even know what's going on here. And some of us would protect. We wouldn't allow it. We wouldn't allow people to hurt our family. So my question is, why do we hurt each other? That song is playing in my head. Why can't we be friends? 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 Why we gotta be blowing everybody up? What are we proving by that? What is that? What is that? And yeah, we do need to protect the innocent, but yet the innocent are caught in a crossfire, especially here south side of Chicago. It's sickening. Why are we killing them? Why is that happening? We should take pride in our neighborhoods. We should take pride in the grandmas and the people who worked hard so that you have some place to watch TV or play your games or do whatever. And some of you have been abandoned. Many of you have been abandoned. You don't think I have been abandoned? That's that space, right? I think I've talked about this before. Some people just choose to abandon themselves after they've been abandoned one too many times. And sometimes when people we love die, we do feel abandoned. We feel like, I gave this all to you. You left me here? I was a good boy. I was a good girl. You left me here? You better bet. After being abandoned one too many times, a person begins to abandon themselves, but you must not abandon your own heart. Because the divine never abandoned your heart. Even at that moment when your physical frame expires, you will not be alone. But why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? And I see a beautiful white dove of peace So funny because when I see it, it looks like a little bit of a Snoop Doggy Dog in the clouds. But I see a white dove, peace. I see peace. And then I see your hands. I see your hands. I see your light. It's like all of you have this beautiful white, looks like a dove. It's just a beautiful white bird. It 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 has an olive branch. Well, I think that, yep, that those are olives. So there must be something excellent about the symbolism, the peace, extending an olive branch. And I'm being prompted to say that sometimes we extend an olive branch and it's smacked away. Somebody says, no, I don't want no peace with you. Well, then pay attention to those who you are at peace with or who are at peace with you. Please don't give up. And of course, you have the right to protect yourself. But there's just been too much destruction of such beautiful cities and peoples and places and resources. And for what? For this. Let's take that to a higher vibration, shall we? Especially when it comes to our relationships. Have fun and recognize, in order for there to be balance, there's light, there's dark, and then there's clear. And so that's what this time is for. And that's what people are also feeling it, not just in time, but with their relationships, in their careers, uh, in 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 all of a sudden you thought you were invested in being XYZ, and all of a sudden you said to yourself, hold on, I'm a whole different dialect now. This is the upgrade time. You're upgrading. You are upgrading. And in order to do that, you do have to recharge. So I ask you, you've been super. All of a sudden I saw the Superman symbol come up. You know what your kryptonite is. And then I just saw everyone. It was almost like I saw these different superhero faces. So a lot of you are heroes out there. The song is playing. Um, oh, it's so many songs. It's a songs about heroes, and for some reason, I'm seeing military men, like unsung heroes, and now this country music playing. And then somebody saying my mom was a Ricky Ricardo Lucille Ball fan, or something about Ricky Ricardo and Lucille Ball. I think he had a head trauma injury. So I don't know. Somebody's watching, and I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm asking for more What he's saying, I heard it on the radio. I heard it on the radio. Hmm. Okay, Mr. V, let's take the next question.
Okay, it's from YouTube. Heart's Love is the username, and the question is, will I hear back from Jackson soon about his feelings towards me? I haven't heard back from him yet since I told him Merry Christmas.
Okay. One moment. Let me ring this bowl. If you can hear this, BB is sleeping and she's snoring. Well, probably she heard me say, "Hope I don't wake her up." She was snoring. I bet you if you rewind this, you'll hear her snoring in the background. You know, BB, she's a little chihuahua. She. Every time I start to talk, she starts to snore, I tell you. Okay, here we go. Okay, what was the YouTuber's question?
Will I hear back from Jackson soon about his feelings towards me?
Oh my goodness. Now that is so. Okay. The reason why I rang the bowl is because I said to myself, am I hearing this so clearly on my psychic jukebox? Now, some of these songs are probably songs that some people who are viewing this have never heard before. But this song came immediately. That's why I rang my bowl. So I just wanted to make sure that I had very, very clear communication. And what I heard was this. Hit the road, Jack. That's what I heard. The song. The song. Hit the road, Jack. So look it up on the YouTube. Hit the road, Jack. And it's a good song. I mean, it'll make you hit the road, Jack. Hit the road, Jack. Then I said, oh no, I must be having, I got to clear that channel. So I rang the bowl, and then I heard this. Aloha oi, aloha oi. And I said to myself, oh, well, there's something that is either needing to be surrendered or needs to be said goodbye to. So that energy is at play at this time. Now, here's the thing. I know aloha means hello and goodbye. So I don't think it's just a snapshot closed door. But I also feel like there might be something to look at in regards to this as to why that song hit the road, Jack. And you'll listen to the song and it might resonate with you, it might not. But they're telling me there's a message there. So what I would say to you is this. It's the same energy that I felt going into this, which is this. There are times that we all need a break. But we always remember the most favorite places that we've been to, and we always want to return on some level. Sometimes that return is in a response, and sometimes the return is even energetically on some level. But I always want to think the best. So when you're thinking about this individual, I would say to you, thank you. I would just say thank you. Because otherwise, it almost feels like there's something that's kind of it's kind of reminds me of when it reminds me when something is like under your skin, because that song is playing. Um, yeah, you've got me. No, yeah, you've got. No, I've got you under my skin. You know how that song goes. Look that up too. But that's in there. So it's a mix of those two songs that's happening right now. So here's what I would suggest because I'm looking at this energy field. It, some of the stuff that's irritating you, it's superficial, honey. It's superficial. Okay? It's kind of like this. If I had like a situation happening with head lice or something like that, I'm gonna take care of that situation. Okay, so that's a temporary situation. It's not permanent. You need to decide for yourself what is permanent and what is temporary and see it clearly because I feel like that there is also when you really jump into love, and I know you're going to say, "Oh, I didn't jump. Was always I don't know what you're going to say. I don't know. There's all these responses. I can hear them all. Oh god, I always hear them all. Oh, I would say this, okay? You need to elevate and acknowledge your grandness more and recognize that those who are meant to respond, return, they will. And if they don't, the word yet is always in play. Yet, because there are many responses that are happening in regards to this situation in so many quantum dimensions right now that you're figuring something major out, honey. Honey. Honey, 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 honey. Woo! And you're choosing the higher path. You're choosing that path, but you know what the path looks like to me from here? I don't know why I'm seeing this. It's probably not just you. There's a lot of what I call those the Girl Scout, Boy Scouts, the Scouts. There's a lot of Scouts. I will do my duty. So it turns into like a scout tent, turns into a pyramid. And so that tells me two things. That vision tells me two things. Number one, it's a very spiritual journey. Pay attention to that, what that means to you. Define it for yourself. And it's okay to explore and admire and emulate things that you say, yeah, I feel the spirit here. Follow that if that's what you're seeking. But if you're sitting someplace and you're saying to yourself, okay, no, I'm not feeling this, then keep going. Butterflies don't just get stuck. They get drawn. So get wherever you're drawn, find it out, explore it, enjoy it. And Jack, whoever it is, you all know what I'm talking about because it's not just your question, honey. It's many people's questions. That's what I love about this because there are messages within the messages, and already you know. And if there is anything, as I am saying these things to you, that it seems contrary to why you asked that question, you need to address that and focus on that energy because that's where it's either an obstacle or it's an opportunity. You choose. That's that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Decide if it is or what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? But I just feel like I feel like it's really important. It's really important that people open their eyes and recognize how valuable this time is. This space here. I will take one more question and then that is it. that will be it for today. So, what's the question, Mr. V?
Okay, Summer wants to know, do I have any messages?
Summer, summer. Oh, wow. Yes. Protect your heart. Protect your heart. Protect your heart. And I'm talking not just this, but what you consider, who you consider your heart. Because the image that came first, I saw this, it almost looked like that painting, Aphrodite emerging. I think it was Da Vinci who did that, or was it Michelangelo? At this time, my library is shut, but it was like that painting, but yet it was closed. And then I said, oh, she has the archetype of Aphrodite, goddess of love, or love, beauty, appreciation, and that's going to matter so much. And then all of a sudden I saw it was like almost like as it opened, I expected Aphrodite to emerge, and it was Aphrodite. However, Aphrodite was quite, oh my, she was quite pregnant, which told me that there's something that has been gestating in your life, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, or energetically. Something that is beautiful, something that you love, something that you've nurtured, and you've gone within with your emotions. And this is kind of like you're giving birth or expressions of some emotions that you want to nurture. You're ready to nurture. And okay, I know it's a preference. Some people prefer to give birth alone, and some people need to be surrounded on some level. And some prefer intimacy and they only want those closest to them. So it's as a preference. Please choose for yourself who you are going to surround yourself with and confide in during this important time, because it's almost like you're ready to give birth, but I would say it's about 6 months. And somebody says she's not ready to give birth at 6 months. That's what Melena's saying right now. No, she is. Okay, but this is about, it's almost like, but you're always when a seed has been planted and you're looking forward to a great harvest, okay, you're getting ready for that birth somehow, some way. And so that's what I'm trying to express here from the divine. I heard something about the scent of peaches, or someone is giving a message about peaches, peach cobblers, and something about that either they couldn't eat it because I feel like my jaw is like, ooh, but that was somebody tried to feed this person a little bit of peach cobbler or a cobbler or something. And it was the person's favorite, but they knew that they couldn't really swallow it. Not that they were trying to kill the person, but they wanted them to have just a little taste or a little smell. And she's saying, "Oh, thank you, thank you." She's acknowledging the wonderful scents, the wonderful aromas, and hearing all the conversations. Even sometimes she says she showed me a picture of like an like a cartoon granny that you might see in like Bugs Bunny cartoon and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys ever remember that, but and some people would say, well, that was a stereotype, but it was a cartoon granny, and she was feisty. She was always feisty on so many levels. Well, this granny, she was like, and I say granny with respect because she's elderly, and she's laying there, and she said that even though she had her eyes closed like this, she always had a one eye open. She was like watching. She was watching what was going on, where, but then she closed her eyes like this because she could hear it all. And she said she heard the sweetest things. The sweetest things. It's like that song by Juice Newton, The Sweetest Thing. Listen to that song. And this is for those of you who took care of your grannies, and you loved them as long as you could in an environment that they knew they were surrounded with love. This is from the grannies. And the song is The Sweetest Thing by Juice Newton. The sweetest thing I've ever known is loving you. Okay, Goddess Akia, Goddess Mamakeeya over and out. Stay tuned.